With me right now is Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider. We're here to talk Oh wait, no, we're not. We're not here to talk football. We're here to talk postponed games, football, whatever you want to call it. It is Saturday. The game was supposed to be against Virginia at 8 p.m. prime time against Ace on the ACC network, but ends up being postponed once again. 2 back-to-back weeks of Florida State football not playing a game in Doak Campbell Stadium. Nate,
What's up, man?
I was gonna say good morning, but we've hit the noon mark now, so we
Yeah.
can't say that. But
What's up, man? How's
yeah,
it
just
going?
I haven't been able to see you in a little bit.
Oh, I've been busy.
You've been a busy
Been
man.
busy.
Yeah, I've been a
Yeah,
busy
man.
man. You are a busy man.
Yeah.
but
Been grinding.
you are grinding. I kind of really wanted to talk a lot of football this week. And enjoy giving some instant reactions later tonight or probably tomorrow morning because I don't think we were going to record at 1 a.m. But uh, this is a good time. I mean, it sucks, but instant reaction on your take over there on this game being canceled for a second week in a row.
No, well, it sucks because first off, I've been really pissed off because I was going to come up to this game, so I've been really mad if you know, I made that trek up to Tallahassee, but for Florida State to be under 50 scholarships, 44 available players according to Coburn, uh, you know, that's under the guidelines. So I don't think that there was really much of an option for Florida State. I think it was pretty much mandated for them to have to cancel the game. 2 weeks in a row, for supposedly to have whole position groups, decimated by the spread of the virus. So while it sucks for the school itself for the income and for the economy of Tallahassee, you know, again to have another home game canceled at the same time, we're in a different time, and it'd probably be irresponsible to try to play the game. So I'm hoping that this is an opportunity for Florida State to get some more practice time in, and maybe kick that game to mid December to that 19th time. So, but as a fan, I think we have to kind of understand, there's limitations and there's guidelines that the administration has to follow. So here we are. Um, I'm kind of to the point to where I would like to see them just cancel it, finish it off, and move on to the off season.
Yeah, no, I
But
agree with you too.
other than practice time and reps, what's the benefit of continuing to play?
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna, yeah, you need the profitability, you need the income. I get all that, and it's unfair for the kids to miss out on, you know, 3 to 4 games, whatever. If they get invited to a bowl game, but at the same time, when is the decision to be like, all right, this is enough, because we're starting to see more and more games canceled. So, my belief is that, I think we're going to see the whole thing delayed here pretty soon, with the rapid spread and everything going on.
hmm
So it just sucks because you know this is supposed to be Florida State weekend, and
yeah,
this doesn't feel like Halloween, not Halloween, but Thanksgiving weekend. You know, without Florida State popping up on my Facebook memories, all the memories of talking shit to Florida, and pictures of going to the games and stuff. It sucks. So
yeah,
here we are.
yeah. We're here. It just like Nate said, this is usually Florida week, and wasn't really expecting a whole ton of people to be in the stadium no matter what, with everything going on. Obviously, you got COVID this year, but students aren't going to be in town. Like, they're not really going to be in town, coming back in town until about January or early January. So,
Yeah, they're
but
not coming back for Virginia.
no, yeah, no, there's not going to be any students in the stands, but still, you have football being played. I never will turn down being inside of a stadium watching football. Definitely in Doak Campbell, 8 p.m. It stinks, and definitely I feel bad for the people that traveled. And I want to talk about it here in a minute about the ACC and their protocols and what they're doing, but it just sucks for people that are traveling. That traveled last night. I got a call from one of my friends that traveled last night from Miami, and it's just, what do you do now? I mean, I guess you just get breakfast and head back home today. But then again, you have a great slate of football games on that is starting now all the way till Florida State was going to play tonight, and it's just disappointing. And like Nate also said, Florida State only had 44 available scholarship players, which that is tough. I mean, obviously Florida State's making the right move. You got to kind of wonder too what that number was. I don't think we got a number last week, Nate, for the Clemson game. I don't believe that was released. I don't think. I wonder what that number was too, which would be interesting because if it was
Well,
anywhere
the week
close to
before it
that,
was 53, wasn't it?
I don't remember. Maybe it was some.
The game before it was really close to 50.
Yeah, I think it was like right on the brink. But then again,
Yep.
Dabo Sweeney is going to make himself look like a fool, but that's nothing new. But so Florida State's making the safe measures, but I think about it financially too because Florida State's in such a tough situation money wise, and mainly you
Mhm.
get a lot of this money from your TV deals from the networks, and I think Tom Block had some pretty good tweets here, just talking about what Florida State was missing on financially. Now, of course, they're not just ducking out of games, just for crap and giggles. They're
Mhm.
just they just have to be out of it safety wise. But it's about 2.5 to $3 million in earnings per game for just TV rating, just TV deals alone, and that's huge for Florida State.
Yeah, for you know everything that we all debate on social media and talk about, they need the income. So, that part sucks for Florida State, and that's a whole different podcast. But for me, when my main mindset is that this team fundamentally just sucks. So yeah, I want the practice time, and this is pretty much an extended spring now. But at the same time, you can't play a game of 44 scholarship players um, for a team that's already one decimated with injuries, extremely young. The on field's probably not going to be a great result for FSU. So, you know, not not going to sit here and say that Virginia and Duke would be tough matchups. Virginia may be definitely a tougher game, but for Florida State to play those two games with a lot of young guys, experienced guys, and third and fourth string players, I think that again we'd be in the vicious cycle of bitching and moaning on social media about how inept FSU looks. So you know, got to take it with a grain of salt this year. Um, this is just a completely wild season in so many ways. So, but when you look at, I think bowl selection is like mid December, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
December, right before Christmas.
Yep.
So if Florida State wants to even try to get to a bowl game to generate some more revenue, they're going to have to play these two games again. So you're kind of looking at the 12th and the 19th. So I don't necessarily think the season's over. Um, I do think that you know they need to make a decision now, and let's see what we're going to do. So and then you talk about like facility wise, Florida State's going to hold the state championships that weekend of the 19th. How does that work?
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say.
there's a lot to figure out if if it's even realistically possible to do it.
Yeah, I don't think if nobody is knows this yet, but I think it was announced yesterday. Yeah, it was announced yesterday that Doak Campbell Stadium is going to be hosting this year's slate of Florida State championships. So how many games is that? Three games?
No,
Four,
8.
8 games, 8 games. Oh yeah, because of all the divisions.
Yeah, the lower classes have to play multiple divisions and stuff like that, I believe.
Yep. So they're going to be hosting that whole weekend in Doak Campbell Stadium, and a lot of people are saying, well, Florida State can play Virginia that weekend. Well, I'm not so sure about that one, even if you were to
Uh,
play it after the state championships, because
like Sunday,
holy smoke,
Monday.
yeah, holy smokes, that field's going to be absolutely torn apart, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Hmm.
That's just tough to kind of get that going there in a stadium like that. I don't know. It just doesn't make really a lot of sense to me. But
Yep.
they got to figure out a different time. I mean, maybe you can play it on a Thursday. On that Thursday, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be before or after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just can't be in that time slot of that weekend. And
Nope.
I don't even know how you can do that with hotels because Florida State already doesn't have a ton of hotels that you can work with. It's high price, so all these high school teams are going to be here. But you've got that going on, and you're going to try to fly in Virginia or who else is going to be on the slot
Mhm.
for that game or for that weekend. I don't know how that's going to work. That's a very very busy weekend for that stadium alone. Um,
They need the revenue though.
yeah, yeah,
uh,
and maybe Mike Norvell can set up
Camp
shop.
out.
Should
Yeah.
he even like leave the stadium that weekend?
No, just camp out, man.
Take
Put your tent
advantage.
on the sideline. Just you know, watch,
Yeah, no, I think.
watch and watch and wink. You know.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of regulation, what kind of rules there are for him on that
Yeah.
in his stadium. It hasn't happened since 2002. Uh, Doak Campbell Stadium hosting the Florida State championships there for the high school teams. So maybe Mike Norvell can take advantage of his office is up there. They can't say that he can't go into his office at least, right?
Hey, you got to
So,
work, man.
well, yeah, there's working computers right there.
You got to do his job.
Yeah, showers there, everything. He's got to work
Yep.
on his computer and watch film. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's what's going on that weekend. So if they were going to schedule Virginia, then it's kind of a little iffy on that part. But me and Nate were talking about this before we started recording, and if you look ahead now at Duke, Florida State obviously is undefeated against them, University, blah blah blah. But if we're going towards this COVID route, which Florida State is currently on, you know, I don't think Duke is going to want them up there one bit. If you look back at what was it, February, March, Duke was the first as a basketball school. They were the first school to opt out of the rest of the season. They were the first
Mhm.
ones. They got out, and that's talking Duke right there, a top dog in the college basketball world opting out of basketball. They don't want any kind of Florida
Mm-mm.
State coming up there to them, in my opinion, not
No.
at all.
Nope.
They barely have any
And
fans at the stands.
so yeah, I think that yeah, I think that I won't say sit here and be fair, not fair. It it, it would provide FSU an opportunity to really reconfigure things if they can make a decision on that game pretty quickly. Because if there's 44 scholarship players available, that's not taken into to affect the guys who have left, the guys who are injured. So, you know, my thought is that this is probably going to happen for another week or so. You apparently have at least one player tested positive, a coach. So, you're going to have guys that are in quarantine or in isolation, and just the way this virus works is there's going to be more players that get it. It's just going to happen. So, I think the likelihood of that game happening is pretty slim.
Yeah, no, I don't. I
So just call it. Let FSU make a decision on what they want to do. And work on getting these Clemson and Virginia rescheduled, um, and go from there. I mean, it, I think as a fan, we need to be ready for anything that happens from this point forward.
yeah, no,
That's all on and off the field.
yeah, no,
Anything's gonna happen.
yeah, and for fans too that are traveling to these games and everything, if you decide to even going back now to if you're going to try to reschedule the Virginia game, are you really going to believe that's really going to happen? Like, are you really going to travel for that? Are you going to make that happen? Because you could wake up in the morning and boom, it's canceled, it's postponed, blah blah. Are you really going to believe in that? Because I mean, the stadium was already painted. You got people working in the morning. You got the Champions Club getting food together, boxes. Everybody's out there, event managers, blah blah blah, and you still postpone it. You still cancel it for the day. Are people going to travel for that? Is that like it's almost like a waste of time for most
All right.
people. And I
Yep.
mean, more monetarily than anything. But are you really gonna trust that happening? No,
Mm-hmm.
not whatsoever. Definitely how this ACC's doing it. I mean, there's got to be a better way, Nate. There's got to be a better way for this to happen because people are already here. I mean, but the stadium is fully painted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, revenue. The team was in the hotel last night. You pay for that. You pay for traveling. You obviously what does the money situation go for Virginia and traveling here? Like what? I mean,
So like three hundred
that's on
thousand
their
dollars.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I guess that's on their
yeah.
um, side of things, obviously. But still, I mean, that the ACC is just hurting their own teams, which I just don't understand it. I don't understand why they don't have a better protocol or procedure. Meanwhile, you've got other teams canceling games on
Hmm.
Wednesdays and Thursdays, or at least
Yep.
last on Friday. You know, why is this happening on Saturday morning? I think that's why a lot of Florida State fans are pissed off or are just wondering what is going on with the
It's the way they're
ACC.
testing. I mean,
There's
when
got
you
to
get
be.
when you get your test results on a Friday, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You know, you have to look at how you get your test results, and then you got to. That's when the team doctors decide, you know, how severe is it? If it's a one-off one person, that's been isolated from the team. Yeah, that's for the game. If it's someone, excuse me, if it's someone that's been around, that's a different story. So, I really haven't studied the ACC's protocols. I really don't care to because I hate the conference as a whole. Um, uh, but at the same time, um, I, I, I don't I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer in order how to do this the right way because we've never been here before. So I think everyone's trying to figure it out. Um, I do think that they should test quicker and do it better. But how do you do it better? We don't know because we've never been through this before. I would love for FSU to use this opportunity to follow the Notre Dame uh, idea and go independent in football and stay in the ACC for all of the sports. They can do it. Why can't Florida State? I hate the ACC.
We'll go on a whole like 10-minute rant
Yeah,
on.
especially if that Clemson president becomes the next commissioner.
Oh, that would be phenomenal, wouldn't it?
That would be just absolutely
You
brilliant.
would want to leave immediately. You would try to want
Yes.
to escape. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, you just keep hurting your teams financially, ACC.
Hmm.
I mean, I just don't get it. I understand, you're seeing Ohio State's games or whatever, they're being canceled
Hmm.
or postponed, blah, 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 2 days beforehand. Uh, I understand that. I mean, it's way more in advance. You're not allowing the other team to travel. Boom, you save money. It's just I don't know. I don't know why there's not a better procedure for this going on right now. I mean, there are out there, but the ACC, I guess, is just thinking there's something better, but
I think
obviously
they're
not, in my
just
opinion.
hoping. Let's test and hope that things work out fine, and go ahead and travel, and let's hope that things are going to be okay.
Yeah, well, that's showing that they're not. That's not doing too well. But I mean, at least Florida State has the is safe on this. Obviously, only 44 available scholarship players, so at least there's positive front. What do you think this does affecting? What do you think this might be doing to recruiting wise for Florida State moving forward? And with having these games postponed and canceled, obviously there's been some talk about Luke Altmaier and maybe some others too. But Florida State hasn't played a game in 2 weeks. Obviously, it's been a down year, 2-6, but definitely 2 weeks, no product on the field whatsoever. What do you think this is going to do to recruiting?
Um, uh, Nothing. I mean, the product is what it is. I think kids have seen enough. You know, I don't think that. I think any recruit knows that a Clemson Florida State game is going to be lopsided. I don't think that that's going to necessarily change anyone's mind. I think anyone with any common sense would understand that that game's just not a good matchup this year. Um, you know, Really, it's more about looking like there's progress. That's an important thing to look at. But I don't think these next few games really do much other than um, finish the season off. I don't really think they impact the recruits' decision. I think their minds are made up, especially as we look into early signing period coming up here in a couple of weeks. Just with the lack of um, visits, the lack of unofficials and official visits. I just think kids are. I would say the majority of the kids committed are are done. Um, we'll see what happens. I just don't know that Florida State is probably going to lose a couple guys in their class. Is the way it looks, and we can sit here and talk about that and kind of assume if you read the tea leaves. But you know, I want to just get it done, get early signing period, and see where Florida State's at, and hit the reset button before February. And I said it on Twitter. I think a lot of kids are going to wait and, until after February signing day to see if they open up visits, and let's see what happens. I'm eager to see if they postpone or delay the end of the letter of intent cycle. They'll allow kids to sign a little bit later. So I just don't think it's. I think this whole process has been unfair for these recruits when it comes to visits. They can go to a game, but they can't go into the facility. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, you know,
Hmm.
it's just the whole thing. The whole thing's screwed. The whole thing. The whole process is just all over the place. And you know, kind of a segue into you look at Shaheem Brown and people kind of bitching and moaning about FSU taking him. And there's going to be so many kids that are under recruited in this class. Um, kids that are going to get late offers, kids that aren't noticed. You look at John Lewis from Mississippi. There's going to be so many kids that go to a lower tier school because that's just where they can go that are going to blow up in 3 to 4 years. So, just let it play out.
I was seeing on.
I mean, how much worse can he get for Florida State, really, on the field?
No, I
When,
mean,
when you look at a recruit,
uh,
I mean, what do you think?
I
It
don't think
can't.
it now.
It can't get much worse.
Well, right now you have star player two heading into the season. Your two star players, Marvin Wilson, Tamarion Terry, out for the season, gone, or one is left, and then another one is opting out. I guess you can say.
Mm.
I mean, after that, I mean, obviously, other guys injured, out for the season, have transferred, blah blah blah. Um, that's just it's a complete wash. It just can't get. I don't think it can get any worse. But you know what?
Uh,
I've said the same thing, in the next week I've been wrong. But I mean,
yeah.
but there's actual like true excuses though for it. I mean, whenever you've been hit so hard in
Mm-hmm.
many areas.
If anything, Florida State's shown, you know, part of its necessity, but they play so many young kids. If anything, it's a chance to come in and play right away.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looks like that. Hamza might be coming back, which would be good. Otherwise, you look at this team. You know, every position is up for grabs. There's not any position that is locked and loaded for anyone as you look into next year. So things are wide open. When you look at Luke, you want to talk about him for a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about him. I think a lot of people have been wondering what the situation there is and what maybe your predictions are. And yeah, someone asked in the Discord. So if you want to get an update on that, obviously you talked about it in the Discord. If you guys aren't in the Discord, then Nate shared this a good while ago for our Patreon members. But you know, he's been kind of quiet right now in
Mm-hmm.
contact with FSU representatives and people covering him on
Yeah.
FSU side.
So I shared a timeline of his recruitment. Um, it, some of that maybe not was like I said. Some of it's not news. Some of it maybe has been news and kind of a quick behind the scene looks about how dialed in this guy's been with um, recruiting guys in his class. He played a role in guys like Jones and Fabian Levitt coming over from Mississippi State. He's been recruiting his ass off for both sides of the ball, saying the right things, doing the podcast with Unconquered Talk, doing the journal,
Mm-hmm.
very receptive, and just things turn real quick. Um, and for 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 me, and I've shared a lot with you and Dustin and the guys in our our little own chat, things that he said, between us, and he's been very dialed into Florida State, and I think you can agree with that. He's
Mm-hmm.
impatient with the on-field product, knowing, and I think pretty level-headed with the results that Florida State's had. Um, but something has changed. So, you know, my gut feeling, just talking to the kid for 9 months now, 8 months, whatever it's been, um, I think the lack of a visit, taking a longer visit, he came to Florida State on the last day of spring practice, right before COVID shut everything down. He was in Tallahassee to watch practice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the lack of a visit and learning more about Tallahassee, I think that's hurt. And I think that Kiffin and Ole Miss has done a good job of showing him an alternative of staying closer to home, maybe being more familiar with the university in state versus leaving Mississippi and going to Florida State and not knowing. Um, I think that's playing a big role in this right now. For him to tell us on December 7th, not December, but November 17th, that he had a really big decision to make. If you're
Mm-hmm.
committed and you have a decision to make,
Yeah.
typically that doesn't bode well for the school you're typically committed to.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not going to disrespect Luke or say anything negative because he's a great kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's super torn on this because he has such a close relationship with Norvell and Dillingham. They've been recruiting him for 4 years. We're going to see if that relationship pays off. But at the same time,
I think that might
there's a
be the
lot
only
of
thing that's holding on right now
yeah,
is the
yes, that's
relationship, those
yes,
two.
that is the only thing that's holding on. For in my opinion, it is the trust and the relationship that they formed over a 4 year span. Um, and then you look at the offenses in Florida State's struggled to produce points, and as horrible of a coach Lane Kiffin is, he's still really good on offense. And as horrible as Ole Miss defense is, they're putting up points. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a little to believe in what he's saying in terms of what he wants from Luke in that offense. So, for me, um, no news is good news, but I think that Luke is someone that is kind of quiet off the field. On the field he's a dog and he wants to step on your neck. Off the field, I think he's very quiet. I'm not gonna say reserved because he's doing podcasts and doing those journals with us, but
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to this decision, when it comes to having to make up his mind. I think we're not. I I personally would be surprised if he publicly decommits and flips. I think it's going to be a Sam Howell part two where he just signs and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It.
he's an early enrollee for Florida State. It'd be a big hit for a guy who's such a good fit for the offense.
Yeah.
So, but talking to a couple recruits, he's not really around too much, and I'll put two and two together.
Yeah. It's been a whole kind of 180 from what it was because
Yes,
we've had
we
a
had
few
him on the
guys.
podcast here too.
Yep, we had a
You
few.
talked to him.
Yeah, we've had Luke on the podcast. You stayed in very, very, very close contact. Sometimes he'd just be texting you, asking about what's going on, what's
Hmm.
happening, updates on guys being unhealthy, also recruiting, getting insight from your take of things, Nate. And but then
Hmm.
also, he's in contact, or he was really in contact with some other recruits, and that's kind of really fallen off from what we've been told or what you've been told. And that's never a great sign. But I think really, like we were saying earlier, the only thing really keeping these two strings attached to one another, I mean, really is the relationship that Norvell built with him very, very, very early on.
Yep,
And,
as a freshman.
yeah, and you would think,
So
yeah, as a freshman, and then also, not having a true visit with Mike Norvell to see him in person, everything really
mm,
hurts him
Yeah,
along with not having a great product on the field right now, is not a phenomenal thing.
these kids want to experience the college life, and he hasn't been. No recruit's been able to do that. So this is off topic, but I think 2 years on the road. I think I said it on this podcast before. I think 2 years on the road, the transfer portal is going to be absolutely loaded with kids who have left the school they signed with because it wasn't what they expected.
Mm-hmm.
So,
True.
but it sucks for Florida State. I think that they're. I think he's going to slip away.
Yeah, I think which stinks. What do you think? What do you think the percentage is he stays at FSU or is committed with stays committed with Florida State?
30%.
Well, that's not great.
I mean,
that's not good. I'm going off of the reaction from
I'm going off my
listeners.
gut. I'm going off my gut, off my experience doing this. I haven't talked to him in you know 10 days, so that's
And
nothing
that's
really.
rare. That's rare for y'all.
You know, I'm not going to speak on what he's saying, but for him to say he's got a really tough decision to make, and then for the ghosting of a lot of things, I think the writing's on the wall.
Which stinks because really, if that does end up being the case, really good player. I think
Yeah, he's a really good player.
and has a lot to grow, and I think he has a
Mm-hmm.
very high ceiling. And one thing we were talking with him early on this season, I think we had him on for the podcast. We were talking about his being able to show his athleticism and running
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And I think in the first game he had like how many yards? So
His first run was like an 80-yard touchdown.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah,
got like that mentality to prove you wrong,
yep.
which I think a lot of fans want to see that as a mentality for a quarterback at FSU because they haven't seen that in a long while.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about like your team taking on the personality of your quarterback. Um, uh, that's what you want. A guy who does the right stuff off the field, works his tail off, but when he's on the field, he wants to kill you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's the mentality that Florida State's lacking from that position, um, or has lacked. I think they have. I think Chuba is in that realm. I think he fits that. But at the same time, you know, Florida State needs to bring talent to that position. They need to bring some competition to that position, and losing a guy who, again, is a perfect scheme fit, who's ran that offense. His high school coach um, has taken a lot of stuff from Norvell and done what Norvell does, likes to do what he likes to do what Norvell does with his offense. He's taken a lot from him. And so, Luke's ran this system for 4 years, so he's extremely familiar with it. So, you know, you can have your opinion on arm strength and size and all that kind of stuff. Um, you know, this is a guy who Norvell picked early on, knowing what he can give this offense, and he targeted his guy and he got him. So it would be a massive blow to the class. So, and I think that's when you would see a couple more pieces fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bell cow, and there's
Mm-hmm.
others too that keep an eye on. Is there anybody else to keep an eye on that you think of right now, or anything that you're hearing for anyone else that might be drifting
Um,
away?
yeah, Cooper, the defensive back from down in Fort Myers, but the only real option you hear from him is Michigan. I mean, unless someone else comes. I mean, Michigan is a mess in and of itself. You're looking at a possibility of Harbaugh leaving. There's some talk about Don Brown wanting to possibly retire. So there's some volatility there. We'll see what happens there. And then you have the chemo offensive lineman
Yeah,
seems extremely infatuated with the SEC. So we'll see.
great, solid offensive lineman. Hmm,
So
interesting. Yeah, no, tough.
again, another guy that a lot of people shit on for Florida State taking now you have LSU going after him extremely hard,
Mm-hmm.
and now all the Florida State fans are up in arms about losing him. So,
Funny how that works.
which one is it?
Funny. Well, that's FSU Twitter for you though.
Yep. Yeah, which one is it?
Don't
The
really
guy
know.
sucks. He's not a good player. Norvell can't evaluate why they're taking this kid. Oh crap! LSU wants him. We
But
can't
can't,
lose him.
yeah, gotta keep
Okay,
him now.
can't lose him. Oh my god.
Oh my
Yep.
God, he's great.
Yep.
They can't make up their mind. They
Yep.
can't ever make up their mind, man. That will never happen. I want to run them through here real quick. They
Yep.
put out a poll, Nate, and on No Game Day just about an hour ago. I said, "Will FSU play another game this season?" And it's got about almost close to 300 votes now. 72%
No.
say no. 28% say yes. So that's regarding a poll we ran. If Florida State's going to play another game, what do you think? What do you think your percentage is if Florida State's going to play another game this season?
I think Clemson and at least Clemson gets rescheduled
Yeah,
because the
money.
ACC but monetarily the ACC needs that. The possibility of getting two teams in the playoff if that happens, if we get to that point. Um, you know, I think they need that and they want that. I do think that either Duke or Virginia would get rescheduled. So I think there's a very good possibility that FSU plays, but you know, at what's going to be available for FSU, player wise. I mean, if they can't say over 50 scholarship players, it doesn't matter. You know, the procedure is that if you're under 50, you can't play. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which game would? I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, money wise, it
yep,
would be FSU versus
Clemson.
Clemson.
Yep,
Uh,
and I think Virginia. You know,
they're gonna. Yeah.
I think Norvell wants the opportunity to play. I
Oh,
think he
most
knows.
certainly, most certainly.
As fans, what I said earlier is coming from a fan perspective. How much more do you really want to watch this team? But this is just an opportunity for Florida State to get a lot of practice time in and continue to work on those issues that they have and the fundamentals and everything. So you can see both sides of the argument versus calling it versus letting it right out. So,
Yep.
but when it comes down to it, Florida State needs the money.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. So they're most certainly going to push to try to get these games to happen on that side of things. I saw on Instagram here. It looks like maybe Janarius Robinson knows something we don't. He, I guess, was over here at the stadium and posted a video.
oh god. Oh lord, dude.
So he said this is it's been trill doke. It's been trill doke. Um, is
It's
that it
been
for J Rob? Is that it for him? At least home game. Maybe Duke is still in playing, but that's it for Janarius Robinson. His time in Doak. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The ACC always seems to amaze us, doesn't it?
Yep.
That
Yes, it does.
that thing
Yep.
always it'll never let us down. So, welcome to the ACC. We'll see what happens. God knows this season has been nuts. Obviously, you got two games back to back. Florida State misses out. It was going to be 8 p.m. on the ACC network tonight against Virginia. Last week, Clemson. Just crappy situations. Best of luck to health to these guys that are dealing with COVID too. It's still
Absolutely.
a nasty. It's still it's for some people really a nasty disease. So.
That and the effects long term that they're finding out now
Mm-hmm.
is what's the scary thing. It's not, we're finding that it's not, the mortality of it's very low, but at the same time, it's the long term effects that we don't know yet. So you're seeing kids with myocarditis who are 20, 21 years old, which is really scary for anyone, but for college athletes, it's really shitty.
Yeah, yeah. So best of luck and heal up for them, hopefully, and It's always safety first, and this is just a complete shit show of a season.
I mean, I got to talk
COVID-19
about that J
sucks.
Rod thing. Okay, I got to talk about
That
that.
was the back of your head. Carlos left
And Carlos
the
left because of that.
production meeting. I guess he left the production meeting because I played that video for him, and he said, "I gotta go." What's going on with J Rob? What's the thoughts on number 11? But PG-13.
PG-13. I mean, it's been thrill.
It's been trill.
You know, it's been thrill. What's the point of that?
Well, it's getting on social media. It could be branding your net. You could be branding your brand or your.
Yeah, I mean, let's break that down because we don't have any game to break down.
No game to break down. 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, we have no instant reaction
so
to break down.
we're gonna break down this video. So here's a guy who is a senior this year, right?
Yeah.
Right. Has no shot at the NFL. Play it again for people who.
Yeah, we'll play it again in case you were just now joining us.
Tell you all about it when I see you again. Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up.
So.
Hopefully we don't get a DMCA notice on that.
Maybe I just had so much time on my hands right now. It isn't true because I don't. But you know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know that. If this was a late night instant reaction, it would be more off the roof. Where it's still kind of like morning to me, honestly. I had a good night's sleep. I'm not.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't drank yet any.
You know, for a guy who has no shot at the NFL, insinuating this is his last game with Doak, what does that tell you?
Gone.
And
expecting that has to be transfer.
Yes.
That's just you just do it in your head. You figure it out on your own kind of situation.
I mean, how else do you take that video? Because I think there's a very good possibility Florida State plays Clemson, and that game is scheduled at home. So does he just replay the video again? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Does he not play if that game is scheduled? Is that him? Is that him saying he's opting out now? I mean, what is it?
Yeah. What's going on there? Does he know something we don't know? Does the ACC already let him know?
Yeah, I mean, does he know that Clemson Florida State's not going to be rescheduled? I mean,
what is? But I think we can keep asking questions, but I think we know the answer to a lot of them.
Him packing this ball and choosing another path, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, is that Janarius Robinson's last time stepping on that turf? Nate, is that it? Is that really it? I mean, are you gonna sleep tonight, Nate?
I couldn't care less about Janarius Robinson and what he's gonna do.
Well, keep an eye on it. I thought that was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting to look at. That was actually from one of our guys in Discord that let us know. Yeah, if you're not in Discord, at least for this season, this has been the most enjoyable part of this season. Is the Discord has been very fun to be.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
Very entertaining group. The game we have almost 15 game day channels. If you're not in Discord, definitely hit us up. We'll put out a tweet here after the stream so you guys can join. It's a great time in here. Definitely. Good amount of over 1,200 members now, but nuggets, insider scoop, recruiting news from Nate. We do bat caves, which mean we go in and talk just like this to you guys, but directly inside of the app and answer questions and talk about whatever kind of
screenshots.
Yeah, no more screenshots. So we're just gonna be chatting, but definitely get in that Discord and hang out with us. We'll put out a link here on our Twitter here in just a few minutes. But phenomenal server and really enjoying it so far this season. It's been great community. I think that's practically it. And this was just going to be, we were planning on doing an instant reaction to this game, and we were planning on doing one to the Clemson game, of course. But so far, no instant reaction. All we get to talk about is COVID-19 and recruiting.
Innuendo.
Yeah.
And player innuendo.
Yeah, exactly. You get Instagram stories too here on Hear the Spear, so you can watch. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy. Wait, who do you got tonight? Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. What's going on?
Really, dude?
What are you feeling?
I got Tyson in the first round.
Oh yeah,
Uppercut right to the gullet.
right to the gullet.
Yeah.
Trying
Right in his fucking chin.
Yeah, I want to see Mike Tyson. I am a youngin over here, so I never got to see Mike Tyson fight, but I love
on
that.
YouTube.
Yeah, I on YouTube, but I get to like see this actually happen live. Obviously, it's not in its prime right now, but I get to see him fight. He still looks like a mean motherfucker, man. I mean, he still looks mean as hell. And seeing his workout videos and his practicing the last few months has been really scary. So I'm excited to watch him fight tonight. At least that's a positive. I mean, I was gonna be in Doak.
Yeah.
At least I guess I'm home now to watch Mike Tyson fight. I guess I always try to find the positives, Nate.
You have to remember, anything that there's a pay-per-view with Tyson, typically it's a waste of money because it's over too quickly.
For real?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. And I think Nate Robinson's fighting
Yes.
Jake Paul. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes. I mean, these are two good. At least they're entertaining. Of course, it's probably not a phenomenal product, but it is going to be entertaining for.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was fighting until this morning.
Oh yeah,
on Twitter.
Yeah,
I saw of the weigh-in.
Yeah, he looks good. He's always been pretty fit. He's been a fit guy, but
yeah,
it's gonna be entertaining because Jake Paul YouTuber kid is all talk. But I mean, he's I believe undefeated through his YouTube fights. I believe.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think get your beverages ready. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. As always, thanks guys for listening. If you're on YouTube right now, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified whenever we go live on there. If you're on Twitter, feel free to hit a like button somewhere or share with your friends. We definitely enjoy getting to know a lot of y'all inside the Discord too and through Twitter. It's definitely been a great season so far, and y'all coming to hang out with us during these lives and introducing them this season. This has been our instant reaction to Florida State versus Virginia. Postponement season is here. Screw you, COVID-19. Can we just talk football, even if it is the product as it is right now at FSU? Let me just please talk football. But all right, guys, y'all be good. Enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend. Be safe with y'all's family, and we will talk to you guys next week.